Hey, it's Crystal again. We are going to make raspberry jam today and can it. And so I thought I would show you how to do it. So follow me along in my kitchen. The steps are basically the same for any kind of jam that you're going to do, especially berry jam. So before we get started, we've got to have everything out and ready. We've got one batch makes about 4.5 pints of jam, and so we've got the cans all ready and washed. We need our sugar, our berries of course, and our Sure-Jell. You don't have to use this exact brand, you just need some kind of pectin, but this is the kind that I always use, and it comes with the instructions step by step already in the box. And so the instructions are actually really easy to follow, but sometimes it's nice to have someone show you. And then we're going to put our fruit and our sugar and everything in this pot and stir it up and then put it in the pints. So we need to have this pot here. Of course, our canner with water and about 2 tablespoons of vinegar in it, and our pot for boiling water for the lids. And so the first step that we're going to do is we're actually going to mash the berries, and I just use a potato masher. If you have like a food processor or something, you can use that, but you don't want to blend up the berries. Jam should have some chunks of fruit in it. It should be kind of chunky, so you might just want to kind of pulse it or something, but especially with berries that are really ripe, a potato masher works just fine. So mash that up. The other trick with jam is that you do need to be quite exact with your measurements, otherwise you're not going to get the jam to set well and it'll be too runny. And so you want to be make sure that you're getting exact measurements. So the recipe calls for 5 cups of berries. So I'm just going to measure out a cup here. Exact as I can. Okay. There's our first cup of crushed berries. You're going to put it in the pot, and I'll do 4 more. Okay, so I've measured the 5 cups of berries into the pot, and so now we're going to measure sugar. Now this is, again, you have to be pretty precise, and so what I do is I just pour my sugar into my measuring cup over 1 bowl. This, and then level it off with a butter knife, and then put it into a bigger bowl where I'll measure 7 cups of sugar into this. So we need to measure it separately first, and then we'll combine it with the fruit in a little bit. Okay, so now we have measured our sugar. There's 7 cups of sugar. I know what you're thinking, 7 cups of sugar, 5 cups of fruit in jam. That's just the way it goes. That's why it tastes so good. And so now what we're going to do is keep the sugar separate, and in the pot with the fruit we're just going to add a tiny bit of butter. It says ½ a teaspoon, so it's just a tiny, tiny bit, just enough to, the mixture will foam up as we cook it, and so the butter helps that foam be minimal. And then we're going to mix in as well the package of pectin. So we're going to start heating this up until it gets to a boil, and then we'll add all the sugar. Okay, so now the mixture has reached a full rolling boil, and that's when you're stirring and you can't stir the boil away. So we're going to add the sugar all at once. Okay, and then just keep stirring it till it gets to a rolling boil again. You want to use as long a spoon as you can so you don't get burned. Okay, so we've gotten it to boil for a second time. This rolling boil again that doesn't... Oh, there we go. So you get it to a boil and then stir it for exactly 1 minute. So my minute is up. Turn the heat off and ladle the jam into the jars. And this time I think I got away with no burns, so that's good. So we're going to ladle it into the jars. So I always leave about 1 inch from the top so that it doesn't overflow. So now we're going to wipe the rims of the lids. As you can see, they get pretty sticky and messy. And we want a good seal, so we're going to wipe the rims. And because there's boiling hot jam in these things, I need an oven mitt. Okay, so now we've wiped the rims, we're going to get the lids out of the boiling water. They've been in boiling water for about 3 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes. So I'll put the lids on. Grab my oven mitt again. Put the rings on. And we are almost ready to go here. Now we're going to put them in the canner. Our water is already boiling. I'm just going to turn it up a little bit. So in the canner we want the water to cover the cans by about 2 inches. And so looks like I might need to add a little bit more water in here. So I added some more water so that the water would cover the cans by at least 2 inches. You can see we've got a floater back there because there was too much air in that one. But that's okay. If it doesn't seal, we'll just eat it first. No big deal. Alright, so now that the water's boiling again, we're going to get the lid on. Okay, and we're going to let it process for 15 minutes and then take the cans out. Okay, so we are all done canning. I pulled the cans out just a few minutes ago and they have actually all sealed. And you can tell that by pushing down, and if the little button doesn't, if the little button's already depressed, then that means it's sealed. So they have all sealed and we are ready to eat some yummy raspberry jam. Thanks for watching.